G'day guys, Dom here. So, I've got a bit of confession for you guys. I'm a little bit of a material pig. Just a little bit. I tend to buy a lot of materials and collect them, and that just kind of leads to there being piles of shit lying around that needs to be turned into knives. So every now and then it's good to just take out a bit of steel and go nuts on it creatively. Just come up with something different, something new, mainly to use up materials, but also it pushes me to be more creative and to come up with new designs, new concepts, and also just have a bit of fun, because just winging it on a piece of steel, that can be a hell of a lot of fun. If you don't have to plan anything out, you just go nuts on it. So the plan is we're going to take this bit of 1075 high carbon steel and we're going to split it down the middle. So, probably one of the most useful tools of metalworking is the old angle grinder. These things are a great bit of kit to have around. They're so damn versatile, and they can cut, they can grind, they can do everything. I keep the guard on this just because the idea of actually getting a bit of disc like this lodged in my kidney doesn't really sound all that appealing, so I like to keep the guard on there. It doesn't really get in my way all that much, so I don't really care. But anyway, let's get cutting. Okay, so don't really have much of a plan design-wise, but I have a bit of an idea. I think first off, we're gonna straighten the spine out a bit. Then we can probably do a handle here. There we go. I like that. So I'm just filing a sharpening notch right now. I like to do this pre-heat treat because it's just a little bit easier, and you don't have to fight with the steel as much as you would after heat treat. And a sharpening notch makes life a lot easier when it comes to sharpening, because it gives you sort of room for your stone to go all the way back to this edge here. And it'll make your life just so much easier. So, we've got our oven here and the oil next to it, both nicely preheated, so we're going to go in for our quench now. Alright, seems like a good quench. Seam, don't drop it. Straight, perfect. I love it when a plane comes together, no warping. Or maybe a little bit, but nothing I can't get rid of. So, I got the blade quenched and tempered, and you can see from the file marks down here that I've actually file tested this thing. And the technical term for this is hard as shit, so we should be good. Now what we've got to do is just got to put a grind on here. I like to do that after heat treat for simple steels like this, mainly just to minimize bullshit in the quench. And what we're going to do now, we're just going to mark it out with some die cam, if the fucker would cooperate. And this just helps me see what I do when I grind it. Now the thing about grinding heat treated is you don't want to blow your temper and overheat the steel again after you've heat treated it, because that just causes all kinds of nastiness that you want to avoid. And this is just Dicam that I've actually I've put into one of these Sharpie bottles, so we should be good. Give that a second to dry and we'll scribe the lines. To scribe lines you can do two things. You can either use a height gauge, or three things really. You can use a height gauge, you can make yourself a jig, or you can be like me and use the cheapest, nastiest pair of calipers you can find. And I like calipers because it's pretty much the easiest way. It's adjustable. You don't have to fuck around with a whole lot of setup. If you scribe from both lines, you'll be able to find center. Very low-tech approach to doing this. A lot of guys like drill bits and stuff like that, but I think calipers are the way to go. You don't need a flat surface, you don't need shit. And a pair of calipers like this is like maybe $5, $10, depending where you go. So there you go. Scribe and ready to grind. Okay, so for this knife, I'm going to go for a 10-inch contact wheel. And that's going to give us a really nice hollow grind right here. Reason being is this is thicker stock. And that really means if I was to do a flat grind, I'd have quite a wedge for a knife. And hollow grinding really lets me get that nice concave in there to get that really nice thin cutting edge that we're looking for. And also, as a nice side effect, hollow grinds look a lot more dramatic than just a standard V grind. They give you that nice, I don't know how else to say, dramatic, very crisp look, which is really nice in a knife like this. Anyway, let's get grinding. Slow speeds, you don't want to heat this fucker up, because if it heats up, it's not good. Okay, so everything's nice and rounded, it's all comfortable. Now we're going to make it look interesting. This belt might be a little bit cocked, but I hope we can actually get a knife out of this, otherwise I'm going to get a new one. Anyway, when you're doing this, you just want to have good control over your knife. You don't want to approach this like a pussy. You've got to really bear into it and have a really strong, confident grip and confident stance, otherwise it's just going to go all over the place. What the fuck? That is not recommended. Do not touch hot things. That's how you end up with things like these. And there we go. We've got the texture nicely in there. It's nice and defined. You can feel it with your hand. And because it's so defined, it'll look really dramatic when I go do the finishing work. So we've got the blade finish done, and now we're just going to two-tone it. And the trick here is to not fuck it up. And there we go. We are finished. Got a nice Kydex sheath on there. Nice good retention, no rattle, rounded edges. And onto the knife itself. I was lucky enough to get a really nice two-tone on the blade. And I went for a belt finish satin just to highlight the hollow grind a bit and to make it really look, I guess hollow grind, I don't know a better way of describing it. But I really like that effect. Hollow grinding isn't really my forte. I'm much more comfortable with a flat grind or something like that, but something like this is a good opportunity to practice and just get better at it. Got the nice rock pattern here on the handle. It's been distressed as well, the rad poisoning patina. Nice and comfortable in the hand, everything's been rounded off. Up here, I put a bit of a pattern here, just to, just a bit of a contrast with the spine up here. And the maker's mark here, I quite like the look of it. At first I thought I fucked it up, but as I took the tape off and had a look at it, I really like how it just kind of goes with the handle here and kind of matches. Now I probably can't do that again because I have absolutely no idea what I did, but I really like that effect. So I'm probably going to keep it. Don't know. I might change my mind as well and just redo it, but we'll see. Paracord landing on there just cause. Fits nice in the hand. This is actually fairly thin behind the edge. It's thick stock, but because it's a hollow grind and because I took it so deep, it's actually fairly thin just behind the cutting edge, so slices paper like a champ. And being a high carbon steel as well, it will take a killer edge. Anyway, not much to talk about with this knife, so I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.